All right, I'm gonna stay up here and moderate, so you're stuck with me for a little bit longer here, but I'll try to let the experts talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But Courtney, Justin, maybe quick 30-second intros, who you are, what you've built, two very impressive businesses built totally different ways. So why don't you start us off here?
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of NORI. NORI is a next-generation clothing care brand. We're best known for our viral steam iron called the NORI Press that looks a little bit like a hair straightener. And we have scaled to sort of near mid-8 figures in 3 years.
Hey, everybody.
It's working.
It's working. Hello.
Oh, no, now it's not.
Here.
Perfect. Hey everybody, my name is Justin Silver. I'm the co-founder at AAVRANI. We're a beauty brand inspired by Indian rituals. Our hair care line launched in Sephora this past March. We've been growing really rapidly over the past 6 years. We've raised over $15 million, and that's fueled a lot of our growth during that time.
Awesome. So to set the stage, could you both talk about how you've scaled the businesses? Two very different businesses, only to mid-8 figures in 3 years. Why? No, just kidding. How have you done it? That's incredibly impressive.
So we have kind of a cool story. We're actually a 3-person team. So we have done this on a really, really lean G&A budget. Basically, the NORI Press has been, in many ways, a meta success story. So our product is incredibly demonstrative. When you watch the NORI Press work, you're watching wrinkles disappear. So we learned very quickly that short-form UGC ads have a really high conversion rate in both a paid and organic capacity. And we were able to scale meta incredibly quick. A lot of the conversation that I'll probably be having today about Q4 optimizations will be relative to meta. As much as we all talk about diversification, like it really is the elephant in the room, and it probably will stay that way for quite some time. So meta was huge for us. We focused really on nailing direct to consumer and ensuring it was a profitable and high growth channel first. By doing that, we found that other channels started to open up organically. So we found out we were going to be on Oprah's Favorite Things, and you launch Amazon as part of that process. So we opened Amazon, and now we're across retailers like Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Williams-Sonoma, Crate & Barrel, so on and so forth.
They gave me one.
Oh, good.
It's been a much longer path for AAVRANI. I'd like to say we generally have tried everything under the sun when it comes to marketing. Now okay, there we go. So we started off back in 2017 when meta ads were working for most people, especially in beauty. I've heard there's a lot of hair care and skincare brands here. It was such a different time. You know, you could put up somebody putting cream on their face and you were making sales. That landscape rapidly evolved. 2018 and 2019, it became worse. 2020 and 2021, it became really good again. Everyone was staying at home. We had a best-selling turmeric mask that was like right on that wellness and home care trend. But we've tried so much. Content creators, influencers, TikTok. We spent a bunch of money on Pinterest. That was a huge waste of money. Sorry if there's Pinterest people here. And really, in the end, we've felt that it's just a full court press. We need to touch people often 7 times before they're going to make a purchase with us, and that's unpaid 7 times. It's not like we just show them 7 ads. And so that means we're talking with influencers, with content creators, with PR. We're running events. We're having college campus people. We're doing all these different things, but all of that together has created growth in the long term.
So Courtney, NORI, which Justin pointed out is iron spelled backwards, hit profitability within 2 years of launch. And can you share how you did that? And you did that while scaling paid aggressively in what is, I think everyone can say, a very difficult time to do that. Can you share your story?
Yes, absolutely. So it is a really difficult time to do it. There's a few things that we're very much working to our advantage. So out of curiosity of the founders here, how many people would say their AOV is over $100? Okay, so it's a small group, and I think that is one thing that's worked to NORI's advantage. So I will caveat by saying that we have a lot more room with CAC to be profitable on first channel, and then we're looking at cross-selling from a perspective of increasing LTV. I think one of the things that's so important from a direct-to-consumer standpoint is ensuring that if you aren't at that $100 plus AOV, you're focusing heavily on bundles. If you can make the case that you're a subscription product and they're coming back X amount of times and therefore you don't have to be profitable on sale, that's fine. But I do think that if you're really focused on being profitable quickly, it is way more advantageous to focus on being profitable on the first sale. Otherwise, you can get into this rut of waiting and waiting and waiting for that LTV to finally allow for profitability on the bottom line. So one thing, obviously, going into Black Friday and Cyber Monday is to think about how can I position my products in a bundle to increase my AOV, allow that first order to be profitable, and you'll see, I think, a much better bottom line at the end of Q4.
And so what do you do? Do you say, hey, if this ad is not getting first purchase profitable, are you immediately cutting it? At what point do you say, all right, this ad is not going to make it and we're not going to be first purchase profitable and thus I need to pull it?
So one thing that I got a good learning lesson from was I was looking for results a little too quickly. I think a lot of people turn an ad on and within 48 hours it has a $100 CPA and you're panicking, me. But I think that typically we keep ads going for at least 4 days. That's not scientific, it's just what's worked for us. Sometimes things do turn around. And we have relied heavily on Advantage Plus. Do you guys all know Advantage Plus? Yes, okay, great. So it's not this overly complicated secret sauce. We're typically turning on a few Advantage Plus audiences. We're putting in a mix of UGC ads and statics. Statics, we tend to, if we're going to do promos, include promos in those statics to try and increase the conversion of that audience if UGC video format is not working. And then about every 4 days, we're trying to refresh. But I do think that quick things that I've learned from our creative, super demonstrative content before or after has worked really well. Obviously, validation from press placements or influencers, and sometimes female founder stories for female-founded brands.
Cool. Justin, you're like me. You've raised money. You've taken the venture juice. Tell me about raising money, what you've done with it, and kind of how that's kind of helped build the business.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've heard a lot of horror stories of VCs coming in. They want this crazy growth, and so even though we had our sights set on raising a significant amount of capital, we never really went the true VC route. We actually sought out family offices who had a deeply aligned mission with AAVRANI's mission. Highly recommend going this route. Our family offices are both South Asian in nature in terms of the people who run them, where the dollars are coming from. And so AAVRANI, having the stated goal of bringing South Asian culture to the masses and growing, our existence is fulfilling their mission. And so while, of course, they want us to grow and we get on quarterly calls and we do all that stuff, it isn't that same number one focus of just dollars and how fast can you grow. So for us, we took that capital. It was exclusively growth. And like I said, we tested, we tried, we were able to invest in inventory, and that capital allowed us to successfully partner with a celebrity. Our celebrity partner is Lily Singh. She's a global YouTuber, advocate, influencer character. She's amazing, and that has also helped us to get into Sephora. And so supporting Sephora is not cheap, and supporting Sephora is not easy. It takes time and it takes money. And so with those investor dollars, we were able to go in there and actually make what I would call a pretty big splash, and we continue to do so.
Awesome. I'd love to hear your perspectives on hiring and getting the best people on the team, because you have stayed extremely lean, and especially on the marketing side. How have you gone about hiring? How have you organized between W-2s, contractors, and staying lean, but also making sure that you can market the product effectively?
So I say we're a 3-person team. We're a 3-person full-time team, but we have a number of agencies, freelancers, like it takes a village. I think our general thesis has been finding one-off, highly specialized freelancers that are an expert in that one portion of your marketing stack or that one specific part of your business stack. So for example, within paid media, our media buyer is the lead paid acquisition at Bombas, and he took on NORI as a passion project. Our head of PR is the head of PR at Aritzia, and she took on NORI as a passion project. We really believe that a lot of people working in enterprise or working at other startups have this incredible passion to go out on their own and are incredibly driven. And they have that sort of same founder mentality. And so we've really narrowed in on finding those types of freelancers to take us to the next level. I think agencies are great too. Obviously, mixed bag on agencies, so you want to be careful. And I would never recommend changing agencies pre-Q4, which I feel like is probably pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'd say for us, I'll have more like 2 pieces of like very specific tactical advice. When it comes to hiring full-time, make your hiring process long and kind of difficult. That seems counterintuitive. You want it to be super easy and super smooth. You want to bring people in. Those people are often the worst hires. When someone gets hired in 2 weeks and you haven't really gotten to know them and they haven't done a project and they haven't met everyone twice, it's really hard to be, sometimes lightning strikes to get a great fit. But if your hiring process took 6 weeks, if they did a project, if they've met you, your co-founder, your whole team once or even twice, all of a sudden, it's unlikely for that person to be a bad fit. Sometimes, though, you do lose good people because they got another offer elsewhere. We tend to pay top of market, kind of a Netflix model. If we pay the most, we can get really good people and they're willing to stay through that process. The other thing, super tactical tip, if you're looking for an individual person, I recommend hiremymom.com. I know, that seems crazy. It's a real site. They're mostly moms who are looking for remote work that's flexible in time. But we have found some of the most talented individuals on there, from our customer service to content creators. They really just don't have access to like New York City roles and networks for that. They're just living in the suburbs of Pittsburgh trying to make ends meet. So I highly recommend hiremymom.com for a really cool job pool.
Wow, I've never heard that advice before.
There you go.
I like it. So Justin, AAVRANI partnered with Lily Singh. I'd love to hear more about partnering with her and what it's like to partner with a celebrity and kind of how you structured the partnership, both in terms of, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing like how you financially structured it, but also the cadence in which you communicate and how you're really engaging with your celebrity partner.
Yeah. Man, it's tough. Working with celebrities is it's a whole bag, and you got to be ready for that because they come with a lot of really good stuff, but also it's high demand to get to work with them. So all of these agencies, the WMEs and the CAAs of the world, they went out and hired investment bankers who used to work on Wall Street, and their job is to value the companies in terms of the equity. Thankfully, the guy who runs WME's group worked on the same banking floor as me. He was on the other side in the TMT group, and I was in M&A. So I knew this guy, Ben, and we got into this process, and it really is, as much or as little as you want. Our goal was always to align incentives. And if you can find a celebrity who's aligned with your mission, you can do that. So, while some people, I think the old school way was like, okay, just big cash payment. That sucks for a brand. It's amazing for a celebrity, but who knows? Maybe they don't perform. Maybe they get tired of your stuff. Maybe their audience gets tired. And even if they're posting, it's not working. So we aligned with revenue shares and equity to really say, hey, when we're succeeding, you're succeeding. And the sky is the limit. There really is no cap on where it can go. Just the other big note is time. It took us 1 year and 3 months from the first conversation to signing the deal. It's a crazy amount of time. I was on calls when I was on vacation trying to negotiate. I would recommend keeping it as simple as possible, but bake in at least a year to go from that initial conversation to when you're going to be like launching with a celebrity. All that said, it's been an amazing partnership, and it's proven to have gotten us into Sephora, gotten tons of new customers, and we certainly would not trade it for the world.
I know we've spoken kind of tangentially about the peak season coming up. Can we maybe dive in a little bit and hear more like, hey, what % of your media budget are you going to spend during Black Friday, or what kind of your more tactical strategy in terms of how you're going to succeed this year and the coming weeks and months?
Yeah, well, basically, happy Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I feel like, don't you start living in that zone in September 1? We were laughing the other day, someone said it was September 16th. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's November 22nd. It just really feels like we're already in that mode. But that is to say, the way that NORI has always thought about Black Friday, Cyber Monday is that we have these incredible 10 months leading up to this window where you should be testing like crazy. It's much lower stakes. You can try things like Proxima, and you can try things like Black Crow and Nostra and all those amazing things. But we never want to test something new in the context of Black Friday. I know there's a lot of brands that have huge marketing budgets that throw Hail Marys at influencers and content creators, and that's great. We operate profitably, so we don't have the luxury of doing that. So I think what we try and do is run a lot of tests leading up to it. We're actually at a great time right now where we really do still have some of September left, some of October, and then you have, to hit go come November 1. So right now we're still sort of wrapping up testing mode. And then I think come November 1, obviously sales just start a lot earlier. So we're starting a sale on November 1st, and then we'll start to scale up those discounts. I think things like free gift with purchase or expedited shipping on the last day of your shipping cutoff for your warehouse are becoming bigger and bigger things. So test mode, and then execution and optimization for Q4.
Yeah, one of the earlier panelists, I believe he's over there, mentioned about trying the different ads at different times. And so it would be on Black Friday, it's this one set of ads. On Cyber Monday, it's this other set of ads. On Giving Tuesday, it's this other set. And then we have this tiered program in December. We did that exact thing, and it failed miserably. The ads didn't have enough time. The algorithm spit it back out. Our worst Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And so we kind of had a whiplash effect. We were like, okay, we wasted a lot of money, and that's not good. So going forward, we're going to simplify this whole thing. In the end, the customers are ready to buy. They just need that discount that hits for them. Whether you have some kind of advent calendar deal that's super convoluted, do that on emails. And we do. And that was also some of the advice given. You own that email list. It's essentially free to send those emails out. Do all the fun, all the cool stuff, but keep the ads simple. We keep it with a single discount. It runs the whole time. We talk about Giving Tuesday, but we talk about it the whole time. And we're giving our percentage of profits during the whole time. So for us, we keep the ad side of it simple, and we get fancy on the email front and the text front. That's a much smaller part of the business. But we have made that big mistake of trying to get crazy with ads and really unique offers, and it flopped.
So speaking of getting ahead of ourselves here, if we're doing Black Friday already, what do you have in store for 2025? What do you want to test that you're kind of all right, I don't have enough time to test it this year, but I want to get the juices flowing for next year?
Well, it's so exciting because I think we already are focused so much on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I'm sure a lot of people already have their offers and plans in place. We can start to talk about all those growth levers of 2025, which is so exciting. For us specifically, I think we're continuing to look at direct-to-consumer as a growth channel. We've been heavily reliant on Meta, but we're starting to roll out significant product seeding, which has been really successful for us and further feeds our content funnel. We will be testing some direct response TV. We were actually on the Today Show yesterday, and organic placement. Thank you. And it really just showed the incredible opportunity of TV. We're going to be leaning a lot more into affiliate next year. And then obviously distribution is big for us. So we're starting to roll out a corporate gifting program. We're working with a group called Premco, if anyone's familiar with that. So that will be big for us. We have new wholesale partners coming online, including on the Mass channel. We're launching with QVC. So I would say largely it's growing what's working, but turning on new acquisition channels for those channels, and then obviously expanding distribution.
A lot of stuff going on. 2025. For us, it's AAVRANI hits the road. 2025, it's retail, distribution, Sephora focused. Sephora is an absolute animal. They have true brand loyalists who will buy what Sephora tells them. And so it's our job to be the thing that Sephora tells them to buy. And that takes time, that takes money, that takes field teams, that takes going out to San Francisco, being with the Sephora team, and it takes a lot of work. And so 2025 is that investment period for us in this channel that we believe can be kind of that main, the main stalk of the hopefully magic bean sprout that's going up to the sky.
All right. Questions from the audience? Do we have anything to give them? No? Nothing? All right.
Sure. What do you guys want?
Maybe some irons? No. Any
Definitely some
questions?
discount codes for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. First purchase profitable. Any questions?
Right over here. For celebrity partnerships, do you give them equity of the brand, or are you just giving them affiliate? Because you mentioned equity.
Yeah, so for us, it's both. So it's equity in the brand as well as a revenue share of the profits that they're bringing, or the revenue that they're bringing in.
If you don't mind me asking, what percentage does that look like around?
We can't reveal that
Okay,
part.
okay.
That's the secret sauce,
Okay,
but
okay.
it's enough to be meaningful, but not enough to dilute investors where they're freaking out.
Okay, because we have a similar situation and we haven't given equity yet, and I feel like that's something we would do if we had a big long-term partnership. And I don't know if that's what you do. Do you do long-term, or is that just for a year and you're just giving them equity for that time?
Yeah, 2-year partnership, and it vests over that 2 years, assuming a bunch of benchmarks. Again, it took 1 year and 3 months to negotiate all this, so there's a lot. This contract is 30 pages long. I could read it back to you word for word. But I think I would advise keep it simple and test it out. Don't do a 2-year partnership if you don't have to. Sign up for 3 months, maybe 6 months. If it works, double down, triple down. But remember, they only have even if they have 100 million followers, 1% is seeing the content, and 1% of 1% is going to interact with the content.
Right.
So it's, the big numbers aren't as big when you get down to it.
Got it. Thank you very much.
I'm just curious too, as you guys continue to grow, and you talk about having the right people around you, different business peaks, different challenges. What about board of advisors? Have you guys thought about crafting that? I know, Justin, you probably had to form that when you took money, maybe not. Can you guys share some experience there?
Yes, so I didn't touch on this earlier. Hardware is pretty capital intensive, so we have raised some money even though we are profitable now. So we've raised just under $5 million. So we do have a board of advisors and then a board of directors. On the board of advisors front, I think we've tested a range of big names and then founders that are sometimes 1 to 2 steps in front of you. And I will say, I think when you can find a founder that is a year or 2 ahead of where you want to be, it is so incredibly valuable. Someone that you feel like you can text, you can call. In the beginning, we were so eager to just validate ourselves that we did, luckily not in a huge way, but bring on some big names. And instead, I really think it's been the founders that are right in there with you that have really moved the needle for us. And then from a board perspective, just like our team, we've tried to keep it incredibly lean. We really only have myself, my co-founder, and our lead investor.
Yeah, really great advice. We've actually maintained the board as just myself and my co-founder. It was a big negotiating point, but in the end, that power gives us so much flexibility, and we're so lean, we can move so quickly, and we make the decisions, so the board meetings are just us in our weekly meetings. In terms of board of advisors, you hit on exactly what I was going to say, which is kind of this personal board of advisors. It seems like, the point of the board of advisors, there's like twofold. The first is the personal, where you're texting the people, and man, that's so helpful. It's like you have to have these people. The second is what goes on the deck when you're trying to raise money, and that is big names, big logos, big people. Very different conversations. I'd say the big names, the big logos, they're not going to help you. It's nice, and they're going to help you raise money in terms of someone looks at that and they feel impressed. But just like PR, it's probably not making sales, but some good PR, strategically placed right before a fundraise, can can have a big impact.
Is that it? Anything else? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.